Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting. This meeting is being held via web meeting due to COVID. Members of the public may participate by following the instructions listed on the agenda. You may also view and listen to the meeting on television, city website, and YouTube. Following roll call, during summary of hearing procedures, we will review how the public may provide comment during today's session. Commissioner Lardenois.
Here.
Commissioner Alawalia. Commissioner Barocio.
Here.
Commissioner Cantrell.
Here.
Commissioner Casey.
Here.
Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise.
Here.
Commissioner Rosario. Commissioner Young. And Commissioner Alawalia. Okay, we'll move on to the summary of hearing procedures. The procedures are as follows. After the staff report, applicants and appellants may make a 5-minute presentation. City staff will call out names of the public who identify the items they want to speak on. You may identify yourself by the raised hand feature or click *9 on your phone. As your name is called, city staff will unmute you and each speaker will have up to 2 minutes. Speakers using a translator will have double the time. After the public testimony, the applicant and appellant make closing remarks for an additional 5 minutes. Planning commissioners may ask questions of the speakers. Staff will unmute the speaker to respond to the commissioner. The public hearing will then be closed and the planning commission will take action on the item. The planning commission may request staff to respond to public testimony, ask staff questions, and discuss items. If you challenge these land use decisions in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the city prior to the public hearing. The planning commissioner's actions on rezonings, pre-zonings, general plan amendments, and code amendments is advisory to the city council. The city council will hold public hearings on these items. Section 20.120.400 of the municipal code provides the procedures for legal protests to the city council on rezonings and pre-zonings. The planning commission's action on conditional use permits is appealable to the city council in accordance with section 20.100.220 of the municipal code. So number one, we'll call to orders of the day, and I'll remind planning commissioners and the public to follow our code of conduct at meetings. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only and addressing the full body. Public speakers will not engage in a conversation with the commission or staff. All participants are expected to refrain from abusive language, and failure to comply with the code of conduct, which will disturb, disrupt, or impede this meeting, may result in removal from the meeting. This meeting of the Planning Commission will now come to order. Happy New Year, Planning Commissioners. Now we'll start with public comment. Any public comment to items related to the city, not on the agenda this evening, they'll have up to 2 minutes. The commission cannot take any formal action on a public comment. Staff, do we have any speakers for public comment?
Yes, we have one that just raised their hand. Charles Wynn, you are unmuted. If you could unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Charles Wynn, and good evening, the board commissioner. I am the resident of San Jose City and also a close member at the Tuệ Viên Wisdom Buddhist Center. I'm going to make a quick request asking all of you to approve and permit the Tuệ Viên Center for continuing to support the city of San Jose itself and the Santa Clara County also. The neighbor around.
Hang on. I believe you're commenting on an item that's on the consent calendar. Am I correct, staff? Staff, isn't he commenting on item B, CP 20-027?
Yes, that's correct.
So pardon us, Mr. Nguyen, just
Yes.
hold off that you'll have an opportunity to speak on that item. This is for things that are not on the agenda. We'll get back to you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No
First
sweat,
time
no sweat.
I enjoy it. Okay.
Yeah, good times. So staff, are there any other hands raised?
No.
Okay, great. So now we'll move on to item 3. Staff, do we have any items for deferral today?
None, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Now we'll move on to the consent calendar, which are usually routinely adopted in one motion, but we know Mr. Nguyen would like to speak on item B. Do commissioners have any other questions resulting in either the minutes, item A, or item C, CP 20-1-021? If not, I would suggest a motion for items A and C.
So moved.
Second,
Motion and a second. Great. Let's do the roll. Commissioner Lardenois,
Yes.
Commissioner Alawalia, Commissioner Barroso,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Casey,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise,
yes,
Commissioner Rosario, Commissioner Young. Okay, we have quorum and we have the votes and that passes. So now we'll take up item B. And does staff have anything to say on that item prior to the public speaker?
None, Your Honor. This is Reena Shah with Planning, Building and Code Enforcement. I believe we can let the speakers speak because they
Okay.
were speaking in favor anyway, so.
Great. All right. So staff will have Mr. Nguyen, and if anyone else that's attending the meeting would like to speak now on this item, now would be the time. Mr. Nguyen.
Okay, you are unmuted.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yes.
can.
Okay, again, I just would like the commissioner board, please give the permit and allow the center to be continue serving the people of San Jose itself and the Santa Clara County people. And I know that since the master Minh Thiện established the center, he helps a lot of people in the Vietnamese community and also the local American community and also the homeless people in the Bay Area. We did a lot of things for the people, and we would like you to consider and help the center to move forward in order to help people around the Bay Area and continue to his loving kind activity toward the people who need anything in the community. That's all I would like to ask you. Please consider and help our community and the center. I'm finished.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen. To the Planning Commission, any questions or motions on this item?
I believe there are other hands up.
Oh, that'd be great. Good to know. Thank you, Commissioner Lano. I don't have that view.
Okay, William King, please unmute your device and begin your comment. It looks like you are still unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Hello, City of San Jose, Mayor, Council members, and Planning Commission. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the Wisdom Garden Buddhist Center's main hall building permit. My name is William King, and I am a San Jose resident for the last 45 plus years. I have known and persistently learned Buddhism from Master Minh Thiện for the last 15 years. Through volunteering and Buddhism learning, I have changed my personality and temperament over time. Thus, I can honestly state I'm a better person today than before. During the last 15 plus years, the center had monthly supported homeless meal services for multiple San Jose kitchens. The center had also focused on youth education classes for both languages and moral teachings. These activities all provide opportunity for volunteering from the center followers and participants. I have great respect and admiration for Master Minh Thien's mission, and I think religion, in this case Buddhism's teaching and follow-through actions, are helpful for us towards less stressful and conflict we all experience in today's life. Since the pandemic, a renewed need across arose associated to mental health and solutions that the center could help. Specifically, teaching meditation is increasingly a viable help to the society and the community. Any of these mentioned center activities have and would further contribute to the safety and tranquility of our society. After all, are we not all seek to live in a better and safer society? We are in and able to help to make things better. I would strongly seek the city to permit the project toward the potential of greater good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Simone, you are unmuted. Go ahead and unmute your device.
Okay. Hello, my name is Simone Bowers. I also have been a longtime San Jose resident for over 30 years, and I've been going to Wisdom Garden Meditation Center. I've been a member of that temple for over 10 years. And Tai Min Tien, the master, holds weekly English classes on Buddhism, wonderful English classes that give us tools to help us cope with life's problems. And also, as the previous speaker mentioned, teaches meditation, which is a very useful tool in coping with life's travails. And there have been a lot of them recently. And the Wednesday group has been very supportive of its members. Tai Min Tien does support the Vietnamese community, but he also supports the American community. And the Wednesday English class is composed of people from multi-ethnicities. So it's a real pleasure to be part of that. And they're very supportive of its members. And the group also helped me a lot when my husband was dying about 5 years ago. They came to the hospice and were just very supportive. And let's see. And that's pretty much it. And I just think Thuy Vien Wisdom Garden Meditation Center is a real asset to the community for the greater good. So I appreciate approval of the item. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Na, you are unmuted. Please unmute your device.
Hi, my name is Nali. I'm a San Jose resident for about 40 years, and I have gone to Master Ming Tien Temple for more than 15 years, and I have seen the change in myself, and I can tell that Master Ming Tien is a very good citizen and a good teacher. He was a counselor at San Jose State University, so he has have a lot of experience in helping the youth. So he's not a big asset not only for the community, but also for the Vietnamese as well. So I would like to support him for that. I have been a volunteer for his homeless program for more than 15 years too. And so as a citizen of this country, and as with a positive attitude toward his contribution to the community. And I don't know what to say, but I can only say that you would be really happy to see a very good community, and also has contributed a lot of big aspect in the San Jose city as a whole and the society as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think that's it for public comment on that item. So back to the commission. Any comments, questions, or motion? And Commissioner Ornelas Wise.
Anything that has to do with love, kindness, and helping others, I'm in favor of. I commend all the work that this organization is doing, so I'm in favor of it, and I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or questions on this motion? If not, I'll do the roll. I don't see any hands raised. Okay, Commissioner Lardinois,
Yes.
Commissioner Barroso,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell,
Yes.
Commissioner Casey,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise,
Yes.
and myself, yes. And if I didn't do that before, yes on the prior item too. That's quorum, and I believe that passes, and I think staff needs to display the vote. Or does staff need to display a vote on a consent item?
Yes, I'm working on it now.
And I think Alawalia is absent as well for that vote. Okay, so now we're moving on to the public hearing. Item H21005, site development plan. Staff.
Evening, Commissioners. I just have a couple slides for you. Hold on a minute. All right, there we go. Evening, everyone. My name is Alec Atienza, Planning Project Manager on the Development Review Team. So the project before you this evening is the redevelopment of the Fry's electronics site at 550 East Brokaw in North San Jose. And myself and Cassandra Vandersweep, supervising environmental planner, will be providing the presentation this evening. So let's jump right into it. I can switch the slides here. Hold on. There we go. So this project consists of 2 permits, site development permit and a vesting tentative map. The site development permit would allow the demolition of the existing Fry's building here and the removal of 274 trees. And it would allow the construction of 7 office buildings totaling about 1.9 million square feet, as well as 2 parking structures totaling approximately 1.6 million square feet. In order to achieve that, this existing single lot would be subdivided into 4 lots, and private streets would be constructed to serve the internal parts of the site. The project has a general plan land use designation of combined industrial commercial and is located in the combined industrial commercial zoning district. The project, both of those designations do allow for office uses. The project was reviewed for conformance with the Envision San Jose 2040 general plan, as well as the municipal code. In that case, it is consistent with all applicable development standards of the CIC zoning district with regards to setbacks, height, parking, loading, tree replacement requirements, etc. Additionally, the project is consistent with the applicable North San Jose design guidelines, as well as City Council Policy 6-30 for public outreach. With regards to design guidelines, this project was reviewed for consistency with building placement, open space placement, mid-block connections, building articulation, entrance location, materials, colors, as well as parking garage design and screening. For public outreach, a formally noticed community meeting was held on June 28th, 2021. On-site signs were installed on the project frontages, and this meeting, the community meeting, as well as the future city council meeting, were distributed to properties within 1,000 feet of the site. I'm now going to pass it off to Cassandra, and she's going to go over the environmental review portion of the project with regards to CEQA.
Thanks, Alex. Good evening, commissioners. As Alex stated, my name is Cassandra Vandersweep, and I'm the environmental planner for this project. A draft environmental impact report, or EIR, was prepared for this project and was circulated for public comment and review for 45 days from May 11th through June 24th, 2022. The EIR identified environmental impacts to biological resources, cultural resources, hazardous materials, noise, and tribal cultural resources. All of these impacts could be reduced to a less than significant level with the implementation of identified mitigation measures. Additionally, the EIR concluded that implementation of the project would result in a project and cumulative significant unavoidable impact to vehicle miles traveled, even with the implementation of identified mitigation measures. 5 public comments were received during the public circulation period from regional and local agencies, including one from the city of Santa Clara. The comments identified concerns with the hazardous materials, implementation of the North San Jose Area Development Plan and transportation analysis, and minor edits to the hydrology discussion. Staff responded to these comments in our first amendment that we posted online on November 29th, 2022. And none of the comments raised represented new significant information that would warrant the recirculation of the draft EIR. Due to the significant and unavoidable VMT impact, a statement of overriding considerations for the project is part of the environmental action this evening. and a statement of overriding considerations or the benefits of the project that would outweigh the identified VMT significant and unavoidable impacts include the development of approximately 6,400 jobs and an increase of economic development in the North San Jose area, the provision of multimodal and public improvements, and alignment of the project with the Envision San Jose 2040 General Plan's major strategy number 4 and land use and employment policy. This includes the environmental overview, and I'll hand it back to Alex for the conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. So with that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend the City Council adopt a resolution certifying the environmental impact report and adopting a statement of overriding considerations, a related mitigation monitoring and reporting plan, adopt a resolution approving the vesting tentative map, and adopt a resolution approving the site development permit. And so with that, we have the applicant available. I believe they have a presentation as well.
And who's the applicant?
It's Brian Wolf. I think he should be on.
And
here.
Brian, is there anyone else presenting with you tonight?
Antonio Caliz as well.
I see them both.
Okay, nice.
I bet staff has to do something as far as.
Yeah, Danielle, you think you could bring them over?
Yes, I'm looking right now.
An applicant shall have 5 minutes. Keep that in mind, and then public comment, and then a 5-minute afterward.
Sorry, what was his name again?
Antonio and Brian.
Brian Wolf.
Right. Okay, there it is.
Yep, and then Antonio Caliz.
And they'll be given access to share.
Yes.
Great.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes. But we
Great.
don't see anything.
Happy
unless
New
you're not
Year.
sharing.
Yeah, so Happy New Year to all you commissioners. We're excited to be here tonight. We actually don't have a presentation above and beyond what staff has already presented tonight. Staff has done a wonderful job in their memo describing the project. We're here with Genzer Architects and CBG, our civil engineers, in case you have any questions for us, but we're excited to push this project forward and continue to bring an employment center to this area of North San Jose and continue the work that's already happening around this area.
And do you want to forego the balance of your time then?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, then let's move on to attendees. Or yeah, I guess we'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone in attending this meeting would like to comment on this item? Now would be the time. I see one raised hand of Renee.
Okay, you are unmuted.
Yeah, good evening, Chair, staff, and members of the Planning Commission. I want to first thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Renee Baez, and I represent the NorCal Carpenters Union. I'm here today to speak about 3 simple things which will benefit this project and every project in the city. And I believe these 3 things should also be basic labor standards. 1, that's the use of apprenticeship programs, meaning every worker is trained to do the work correctly and also safely. Number 2, healthcare for all workers and their families. And number 3, local hire. You see, projects that invest in apprenticeships, prevailing wage, healthcare, and local hire are the best deal for construction workers and the community. This allows workers and their families to live in the communities that they work in. This also means those wages that are earned will be reinvested back into the local community as they spend their earnings, and their tax dollars will also help fund local schools and government. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this project has already selected a general contractor, but I would like to know what the Planning Commission and the City Council are doing to ensure that this developer will hire a responsible contractor who will pay the area standard wages and benefits. I've been coming across many projects in the area that are being built where the workers are not only traveling at least 2+ hours to work, but they're not getting health care, and they're also getting cheated out of a livable wage via wage theft in some cases. Now, this is a massive project that has potential to change lives for many years to come. And everything looks good, has the setbacks and the density, and it's an excellent project. but I don't hear prevailing wage or local hire or healthcare. And those are the things that will benefit the community for years to come. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Renee. I don't see any other speakers. Does staff see any other hands raised?
No, we do not.
Okay, great. So we'll go back to the applicant. You have 5 minutes if you wish to use it, make any comments, what have you.
No comments from us. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go back to the commission. I see Commissioner Cantrell.
Hey, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Okay, I have a question. I think I know the answers to these, but I want to just be clear. So the trees, 274 trees is a lot of trees, obviously. Do you know the types of species? I know these are non-native. Are these drought tolerant? Are these trees that are having issues? Do we know much about them at all?
I have an entire list of trees. I know the arborist report is attached. I can give you just like a quick overview though, if that would be helpful. I'll try to do my best to do it quickly. Okay, hold on, let me pull up the list here.
Yeah, I didn't see that report. I would have read it myself.
Oh no, that's okay. It's quite long. It's quite long, but hold on. I got it right here. Okay. Okay, so trees to be removed. We have 274 trees. 210 of them are ordinance size, and they would be preserving 27 trees.
Yeah,
all of them are non-native.
Yeah, I did read that. Do we know?
Okay.
What I'm trying to
Trees
get
to
to is
be
whether or not these trees are going to be more vulnerable to drought conditions, if they're going to.
Are you speaking about the trees that are going to be planted on site? Because I have
No. Well, that I have another question on. These are trying to get a sense of the value of these trees to the canopy. You know, we have a big enough problem.
Sure. So, I mean, just based on my memory from the arborist report, most of them were relatively small parking lot trees, and they were all non-native. Really, the primary reason for removal is because they need to grade the entire site in order to construct. Anything that they could save, the arborist recommended that they save. As for condition, I mean, it varies across the parking lot. It's tough to explain in about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Let's look at part two.
Okay, sure.
So part two is I assume that this is going to they're going to use purple pipe to irrigate these trees.
I believe only if it's available. They do have to meet the current irrigation standards though for chapter 17 of the zoning code, which I'm not particularly familiar with because that's sort of taken care of at the end of the project, end of our portion of the project. I don't know if anybody else in city staff would be able to answer that.
The point I'm trying to get to is that trees, especially, new planted trees, don't necessarily survive very well without good irrigation and tree maintenance. I just want to make sure that maintenance is a part of this planting. Otherwise, we continue to exacerbate the problem we have with our urban canopy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we always include the standard permitting conditions for, meeting irrigation requirements of the city, as well as just general site maintenance. Any trees that are, at risk of failing, we require that they be replanted. Specifically within the zoning code, I believe it's within 3 years it's checked on. Now, I don't know who's responsible for doing that though, unfortunately.
Okay. Do you know if anybody audits this? Make sure the number of trees does get planted and that those trees are surviving as
yes. So it's done at the implementation stage. So when the project actually goes for construction, they lay out their landscape plans, and that's what's actually approved for construction and planting. Right now it's conceptual, I'll say. The location of the trees may change as they construct their site.
Okay, but what's not conceptual is there over 200 trees are going to be removed.
Right, and what's not conceptual is the number that they're required to plant on site as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Commissioner Cantrell, this is Robert. The issues that you have or the concerns that you have are actually being addressed from a citywide perspective. The city auditor just provided his report.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Cantrell. Any other hands on this item? I know in general that when a applicant wishes to remove trees, they are then required to plant a higher percentage back, which sounds like this is the case for this one as well. Commissioner Ornelas Wise?
Yeah, I had also some questions about the trees in regards to mitigation measures for tree replacement. It's obviously a pretty high number that will have to get replaced given the large amount of trees that are being removed. Is all the mitigation for the replacements on site, or are some of those trees going to be off site?
I'm sure it's on site, but let's staff answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is all on site. So we don't count their mitigation requirements towards street trees. So anything that they're going to be planting on the public right of way is not counted towards their mitigation requirement. And if you just want the numbers, so it's 479 is their required replacement for number of trees on site, and they're planting for 508. Yeah. We won't know the number of street trees until implementation phase with the Department of Transportation.
Well, I think it's a great project, and I think it was really well done and designed, and I look forward to seeing it being constructed. So I definitely am in favor of it and would like to make a motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. And any other comments, Commissioner Ornelas Wise?
Those are the only, I mean, of course, there's certain things as a woman, as a mother, that I'd like to see on site, like childcare for workers on site. I would really like to see maybe some, playground, something like that, or recreation for the people that work there, some physical activity. Of course, those are certain things, for balancing work and play, just to create a little bit more creative space. That's some of the things that I think about, in safety. And when it gets dark, make sure that there's adequate lighting for a woman going to a car at night. So those are things that are really important to me, and I hope that when you're thinking when you're designing something this large scale, that you really take safety for women into consideration, and think about not only just the individual but their families as well. Thanks.
Sure. Commissioner Barroso.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, good evening. Happy New Year, everyone. Really quick, again, I'm trying to learn the process to some of these projects, but in terms of what the previous public comment about the contracting, and in terms of who gets hired, my understanding is that that's at the discretion of the applicant. But where does that get declared? Is that something that gets declared at the city council level?
Not technically, because you might improve a project entitlement and they might not build it for 3 years.
Right. So I guess my general question is, in terms of how does the workforce get put together with projects like this, right? I'm just trying to get an understanding of where would the comment that was just made fall into place in terms of the people that need to be hearing his desires.
Staff, Robert, do you want to take that on, or?
Well, I believe, and I think city attorney can correct me if that is not the case. That particular issue is not a land use matter, but when it gets to city council looks at other issues beyond land use. And I don't know whether, Daniel, you wanted to chip in on that.
No comment on that part. But yeah, that is not part of this review. And I understand that whoever the applicant, once it's entitled, if it's sold, or if whoever's doing the construction, I mean, those are far in the future, but not to be decided at this point in time.
Okay, so once the project gets approved and then heard the word entitled, and I know that that's a milestone. So after the entitlement, then that's when contractors, potential workforce, that gets all figured out at that point. Is that correct?
Some point after that.
After that, yes.
But we don't know when.
Right. Well, yes, in terms of days and months, yes. But in terms of entitlement, I guess entitlement would be the closest milestone in the project, closest to when there's an indication of when the workforce is going to be put together.
I can take a stab at that. I mean, I think what we're talking about here is once the project is approved by the city council, if it in fact is approved and entitled, then there's no guarantee that the applicant who put the project together is actually going to construct it themselves, right? So that project could be sold off to another developer, to someone else, to who actually builds it, and it may not be for a few years until that happens. So it's really unknown at this point who's actually going to construct the building. This is just kind of the concept of the building that's being examined and analyzed and approved or recommended for approval. So it's not something that we can put in as a requirement at this point for this type of project. And I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of what we're talking about here, is that, you know, this is a review of the project. It may or may not be this applicant who constructs this project. And so we don't know what that's going to look like at this point. Who's going to be hired as a general contractor, for example, if it's going to, you know, who's going to be hired.
Right. No, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that understanding. For me, it's a little vague in terms of how the contracting works, but I understand, you know, from the Planning Commission perspective that's not really something that we dabble in, but I know it's part of the project, right? At some point, eventually, these are some of the considerations that have to happen. But thank you for some of the clarity.
Sure. And Commissioner Barroso, it might be, since you're familiar with school district, this district may decide to build a new cafeteria or a new science wing. It may design it, it may submit it to the state, but it doesn't choose the contractor till some future point in time.
Right. Yeah. And I know it goes out to bid, and then the best bid, and, you know, a lot of different things happen. But yes, it is a close parallel approach.
Robert, did you have something else you want to add?
Yes, I just wanted to confirm who seconded the motion. I know it was Commissioner Onilas Wise who made the motion.
Was it Lardenois?
I wasn't sure what it is.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Say that again.
Lardenois.
Me,
Oh,
Commissioner
sure.
Lardenois.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, Commissioner Barroso?
No, thank you. Thank you for the time.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Let's see here. I don't see any other hands from the commission. Is that correct?
I believe staff has
Alec?
Alec has his hands up.
Yeah, I just have a quick comment for Commissioner Cantrell regarding the recycled water. We looked at the map. So this project is on a recycled water line, so they would be required to hook up to Purple Pipe.
Yeah, I assume so, but.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so, you know, you'd be surprised what's missing from it, but yes, it would be required to.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner Ornelas Wise, and secondary question?
Yeah, I just, you know, in regards to recycling, I know that there's so much hardscape that will be coming up, given such a large parking lot in the building that will be demolished. Is there any sort of mitigation measures that require the recycling of that concrete or materials, the debris?
I can speak to that one. There's no mitigation, but there are city requirements that a minimum of 75% of the construction debris are recycled. So at least 75% would be per the code.
Okay, good. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Okay. Any other commissioner comments? Any other commissioner comments? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Nope. I'm just gonna say I'm supporting the motion. The North San Jose plan has been a vision for the city to have housing and jobs. And the city in its phase one built all the housing and didn't receive the jobs that were intended. So this project would put it a step in that direction to provide the jobs, which then in turn provides the tax base both to cities, counties, and school districts to pay for city services and local government services. So I appreciate the application. I'll certainly be voting for it. Commissioner, we'll go for the vote. Commissioner Lardenois?
Yes.
Commissioner Barroso?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell?
Actually, I'm encouraged by this project. I was just over there the other day thinking, what do you do with this big lot full of nothing? I'm glad to see this happen. Yes.
Great. Commissioner Casey,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise,
Yes.
and myself, yes. And staff will display the vote.
Commissioner Pierluigi.
Did I skip someone?
This is Commissioner Rosario.
Hey, welcome, Commissioner Rosario. My apologies. And that was a yes vote, sir?
Yes.
Okay. There we go, and it's unanimous. Okay, moving on then to item 6, referrals. I don't believe there are any. Item 7, good and welfare. Is there a report from the city council staff?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chair. 2 items were on the land use yesterday. The first is item number 10.1A, which is conforming rezoning for real property located at 151 Bernard Road. That was approved. And then special use permits and determination of public convenience for certain real property located at 430 Blossom Hill Road. That is the smart and final alcohol issue that came through the planning commission. That was also approved. That's it for council report.
Great. I don't believe there's any subcommittee formation. Commission calendar is nothing's changed on that. No new dates, correct? And we have nothing on the public record. Is that correct?
Unless the commissioners want to state something for the record.
I'd like to say something, Chair. Just kind of a heads up. The Governor Newsom's COVID-19 emergency declaration is going to be ending February 28th. So that means that virtual meetings will be coming to an end. And I just wanted to make sure everyone is aware of that and prepared for meeting in person coming up.
Okay, and we'll see if that gets extended as it did several times prior. So anyway,
I have a question about that.
Commissioner Larnois.
Yeah, I know anyways, when we return to in-person meetings, will there still be an option for the public to participate over Zoom?
I believe that's
my understanding is that there will be, but I don't know if anyone has any specific information on that, but my understanding is yes.
Okay, I asked because I think in the past I heard at some points maybe there wouldn't be, so wanted to see.
That's right, yeah. The unofficial information we've had is that it will be fashioned along how city council is currently conducted.
I figured since we will be meeting in the city council chambers, right?
That's correct.
Right, okay.
And commissioners will have the option to attend virtually as well, especially if you're sick. Do not show up. All right. Well, if that will adjourn. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome back. Thanks so much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.